Hey everyone, welcome to the Kosher Intuitive. So for those of you who tuned in last night, I'm basically redoing this topic. I felt that the way in which I communicated my point last night was because I was so activated. I didn't feel, uh, personally, I did not love the way that I conveyed my point. And I feel that it's not only what you say, but it's how you say it that's important. And for the purpose of how important the topic of today's show is, I decided to delete last night's episode and just redo the episode today. Um, in a less activated headspace. And so the topic of the show today is, how does a company like the Kosher Intuitive, my company, how are we valuable in a time of crisis, such as if, God forbid, a person goes missing? How are we valuable in that situation? And today on the show, I'm going to address that. Now, we are a private sector business, all right? Most of the time, after having just concluded my fifth missing persons case, we are available for private investigation. We keep everything as, confidential as we possibly can. We have resources in hostage negotiation. We have resources with the FBI. The bottom line is, until a person, a family, is in the situation of a God forbid, right? Until someone does go missing, people really don't know how they're going to behave, or in some cases, even how to behave in a situation like this. Being that I have done now 5 missing persons cases, I can tell you 4 of the 5 cases were very similar. The 5th case is where there is pause in my mind as to whether or not a crime actually did occur. Now, why do I say that, right? I am going to remind you all of, before I get into the meat of the sandwich, okay? I'm going to remind you all of a case from Redding, California, a few years back, less than 10 years ago, involving an alleged victim named Shari Panini. Okay? So this Shari Panini had allegedly gone missing after going for a run from her home. Okay? She left her home with her phone to go running. All right? She was missing for 22 days. She was miraculously found alive. She was found in very battered condition. And now, when the truth of this case finally did, thank God. I want you guys to understand something. And there are things about kidnappings the general public doesn't know. Did you guys know that kidnapping victims get money? Did you know that in some states? They do. To falsify a kidnapping is probably one of the most disgusting things a human being can do. All right. It's a gross waste of law enforcement's time. And it's a gross waste of someone like me, like gross waste of our time. And the case that my team and I worked on. Now, when I say my team, right? Now, what does that mean? Isn't the Kosher Intuitive a one-man band? When you're coming to us for divorce, it is. If you're coming to us with someone who's allegedly missing, it isn't. I am working with colleagues, because you have to understand, if you come to us, whether we've offered our services or whether you have inquired about our services yourself, is really irrelevant. We treat you, the potential client, as if you are in a life or death situation. Okay. Now, people in these types of crises, depending on how high profile the case actually is, will actually determine how much police and media coverage you get. And we're going to talk for a second before we get back to Sherry Panini, how do rich people handle abduction? All right. Let's talk about how do rich people handle a God forbid situation. All right. Now, rich people, and we are talking about people who are, millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires. People who are likely to be targeted for crime. Okay. Like the Kellogg family. Hopefully they're not, but I'm saying that would be a big enough name where I could imagine somebody would want to target, hopefully nobody does. But, you have to consider, high level people in large sums of wealth. We are not talking basic doctors and lawyers here. We're talking families that have loads of money that, people like you and I just, currently don't have. They usually hire, in a God forbid situation, people like myself, usually that have military backgrounds, which I don't. Okay. And I'm very upfront about that. I have no military background. Usually though, these are people with some level of rare human gifted ability, some level of military training, that have had years of experience and success at retrieving victims. So the job that I do today, with the conclusion of my 5th missing persons case, the job that I do today in 10, 15, 20 years from now, this career, in 10 years from now, I will likely in this career have done hostage negotiation. Currently, I have never done hostage negotiation, but that doesn't mean down the line I won't. Okay. That is the nature of this business. Someone in my position dealing with a family in crisis whose children or child, husband, wife, sister, brother has been abducted. Okay. And these people are in high levels of wealth. Again, these are the people with hundreds of millions, billions, or trillions of dollars. These people are targeted for crime. All right. How do I know that, right? Do you think I'm the only one I know who works in the kidnapping business and in the unkidnapping business? Oh no. I know other people who work in this business. And I'm telling you, I am not going to give examples out of respect for the individuals that I know who do jobs like mine, at a much higher scale. I'm not even going to give stories of what I've heard out of respect for those relationships and preservation of that privacy. But wealthy people are targeted for crime all the time. Now, do these people notify the police? Usually not. Or if they do, it's above the local precinct, and it's usually involving the FBI, Interpol, one of these very high level of government organizations. Now, if God forbid John and Sue Smith's child goes missing, they call the cops. If John and Sue, I don't know, let's just take a name, Tesla, right? I don't know. I mean, we know who the real Tesla is, but let's pretend for a second. You take a big money name. These people are going to step over the local precinct because they have the money and they have the power to do that. And they hire somebody like me who is just not as advanced in their career, to step in and deal with the kidnapping situation. All right. And we see in this business every type of horrible, you wouldn't believe the awful things that we see in this business. Okay. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. There is a reason when you are working with the Kosher Intuitive, we have you fill out a form. We ask a ton of questions in your consultation, whether you're coming to us, especially if you're coming to us in a crisis where a person's physical life is in jeopardy. Okay? We are going to ask you lots of questions. And some of those questions might even make you uncomfortable. It's not about your comfort. Do you understand me? It's about retrieving the victim alive or, God forbid, dead. It's about retrieving the victim. All right? And we here at the Kosher Intuitive never, ever lose sight that we are here for the victim. We are here for God. We are here for the victim. And we are here to make sure that things run as smoothly under hellacious duress as humanly possible. Do you understand that? And we make exceptionally expensive services readily available to the general public, but the Jewish community for sure. Until recently, we made those services available for free. Based on what we have dealt with recently, my team and I had an appointment this morning to speak, and we have decided that we are no longer going to be gifting the Jewish community with our services for free. We will treat families of victims no differently than we treat any client who comes to our door. And our services to work with missing people are going to start at $3,600. Now, the reason for this is because of the case that we recently took on. It has been shown to us by way of action on the ground that doing this for Jewish people specifically, I hate to say it, it's always one bad apple that spoils the bushel, isn't it? We have seen specifically with the Jewish community, we cannot gift these services because we will work on a sliding scale with you if $3,600 is too much money, but there needs to be financial input at this point. We were overwhelmed with the shenanigans, people who were allegedly, I'm going to use that word, allegedly, suffering from someone who was allegedly missing. We were surprised at their behavior. We were surprised at their action and reaction to my questions. For example, I'm going to give 2 examples pertaining to the case we just worked on where we are not sold. A crime has even occurred. Okay. The first example is when I asked a friend, right, if there was any possibility family could be involved. The friend treated me as if I was speaking Lashon and Hara. Are you joking? Are you actually kidding me right now? You have someone whose life is allegedly in danger, and I'm being met with such narishkeit. And when I started asking about patterns, behaviors, mannerisms, is this an argumentative person? Which we found out this is an argumentative person who actually does hide behind a keyboard and create problems with everybody they possibly can. We found out this alleged victim is more problematic than any victim we've ever worked for. But that's neither here nor there. What we found remarkable here is that there was such little. Now, when we talk to family and friends of people who are missing, and again, I've only done 5 cases. I only have 4 other cases to compare this to. But I can tell you in the 4 other cases that I worked on, I saw very different behavior from the people who were missing a victim. I saw appropriate behavior from people who were missing a victim. In the case we worked on recently, there was not behavior by the people who allegedly really care for this person that would be congruent with people who are suffering from someone who's missing. The behaviors that I myself witnessed were not congruent with people under the duress of a real crime. And that is all I am going to speak on that topic. But the bottom line here, and I am set in what I think until tangible evidence is handed to me by police showing me different. I've seen all the hearsay I'm going to hear, all the shenanigans I'm going to put up with. I am entitled to my opinion, and it seems as though this situation was ran on opinion. Anywho, waste of our time. Such a waste of our time that our company policies changed this morning. That's what a waste of time this was. Now, getting back to Sherry Panini from Redding, California. I understand. Okay? I understand. It is very hard to believe that somebody would orchestrate their own crime. People do it. We have no clue what stress and duress, especially financial stress, children's stress, marital stress, things of that nature. We don't always know what that does to the psyche of our fellow human being. And just like in the Sherry Panini case, You have a woman who, if you looked at her prior to the alleged, to the orchestrated kidnapping on social media, she would look like Mother of the Year. The type of woman who is, engaged in her marriage, the type of woman who was attentive to her children, the type of woman who would have never, not picked up her kids from school. Sherry Panini, to the naked eye, was the normal, stable, well-together, well-rounded person who then orchestrated her own kidnapping. Okay? And then when she was about to be caught or was done with her kidnapping, she beat her own ass. Ladies and gentlemen, the lengths this woman went to injure herself, okay? To injure herself. She had a gentleman who picked her up, who helped assist her in her own kidnapping, hold a hockey stick like this. And homegirl, he's holding the hockey stick like that. You guys, I'm gotta show you. He's holding the hockey stick out like this, like that way. She's running towards the hockey stick and she busted her own fakakta nose. All right. She had this buddy of hers put branding with I don't even know what they call it, a brander, like what you would cattle with, on her body. That is how deep she took this orchestrated kidnapping. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen, this Sherry Panini looked just as normal as anybody you can imagine, okay? So I don't want to hear how your friend, your cousin, your sister, your brother, your son, your daughter would never do something like that, because that's bullshit. People are that nuts, okay? They're that nuts. They are that nuts. And one of the very big flaws that I saw within the Jewish community, and this is just part of the shit that needs to get out of the Jewish community immediately. It is a mindset and a mentality that is dragging you people into the gutter and into hell. It is. This refusal to believe that people are capable of doing egregious things. This is how we have pedophiles that are not in prison. Now, when it's pedophilia, the Jews have become uncomfortable enough-ish, to sometimes involve police. Every time I was trying to get to factual information about someone allegedly missing, you should have seen the horse shit I was met with. It was like having a conversation with a toaster. Only toasters probably would have had things more intelligent to say. Toasters at least make toast, for fuck's sakes. Good God. Every damn yeshiva who's pumping out these idiots, you people need a life crisis skills class or something. Because ain't none of you people know how to behave in a crisis. Not from what I saw. We couldn't even get these people to fill out paperwork on their alleged missing victim. Isn't that interesting? Why not? Why not? Because they're probably not really missing, that's why. The horse poop. Jewish people are outraged right now in the world at the way non-Jewish people have the audacity to look at the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and say, oh, the IDF is bad. They have a problem with that. Now, I don't care what the IDF does to get rid of to get rid of Hamas. All right? What I'm doing, though, I hate the term devil's advocate, okay? Hate it. But I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here for a second and using, Jews, your own logic and holding you accountable to your own standards, because I saw something over this investigation that you all do that needs changing, that is congruent with the people who cannot see fault in Hamas. All right? There are individuals who cannot see fault in Hamas, right? We know about these people. They're awful. But the problem that is plaguing the Jewish community here is that in the same token, while non-Jews are struggling to see flaw with Hamas, Jewish people are struggling to see flaw with criminals. Did you understand that? So I wonder if maybe Jewish people had a less difficult time seeing flaw with flawed people and with criminals, if greater humanity would have less of a struggle seeing problems with Hamas. Because it seems like the Jews have trouble with human decency in their own way, and the non-Jews have trouble with human decency in their own way, doesn't it? Jewish people, you are just as guilty as being devoid of human decency as the non-Jews. And no better did I see that in trying to rescue someone allegedly missing and victimized. What I saw recently has changed the foundation of how this company is going to conduct itself with Jewish people from here on out. Why should our precious services that have done amazing things for families be free? Why? Why should we gift this to people? I don't know anymore. After what we dealt with this past week, I don't know anymore. I don't see a reason for it, to tell you the truth. I really don't. And the way these people got an investigator on the phone and spoke about themselves, who are not missing ad nauseum, was nauseating. People should have been ashamed of themselves to have wasted my time the way that they did. When our services were offered, I wish they had said no thank you. I wish. We wouldn't be where we are today. I wouldn't have had to change a policy that has been our policy for 20 years. Because never in my life would I have believed someone would have taken advantage of our kindness and decency to the level that they did over this past week. There is such a disconnect on how you're supposed to behave in a time of crisis. Okay? We were appalled. Just because I am the face and voice of my company does not mean that I don't have people that work with me, especially in times of crisis. Our services used to be free, and I'm going to explain why. Because we at the Kosher Intuitive know that if somebody goes missing, funds might need to be available for parents or relatives to fly overseas or fly to a different state. We know funds need to be available because this individual, the family that's suffering will probably have to miss work. We've done this and kept it this way to be a resource. Like, you have to understand, we do so many other things, other psychic work, not just psychic work. Oh no. If you're if you're a family member of a victim and you're not handling the missing persons which how could you, right? There's no right or wrong way. There is a wrong way. When someone doesn't appear to be, there is a wrong way, actually. I hate to say that. There is no right or wrong way to grieve. There is a wrong way. When you don't appear to be concerned to the level that is appropriate, it's kind of like showing up to a wedding in a pair of blue jeans and a Guns N' Roses t-shirt. You know what I mean? You just don't do it. There's certain behaviors that I witnessed and brought back to the team, and we're like, wait a second, none of this looks good to us. That were indicative, again, of a crime having not occurred. So there is a right way and a wrong way to behave. And usually when a crime is sincere and victims' families are actually suffering, we can get you in with a doctor immediately. We do so many things. If the victim is alive, while the police are doing their work, we're doing everything we can to get them into aftercare services. You wouldn't believe the extent and the lengths. We've gotten mental health warrants for people like that. One of the reasons I always tell people don't ever put a password on your phone is if you go missing, God forbid, that somebody if nobody knows your password, very, very likely you're going to have to go in front of a judge, to get that phone unlocked. Especially if it's an adult who vanished on their own volition. There's so many amazing things that we do here at this company for people in crisis. Amazing work. You guys, I'm using the word amazing. We do amazing things for people. Amazing. I got a call from a client today who just booked another session for telling me how great not only she's feeling since her last session, but how seemingly better her whole life is going. You people don't know. We do amazing work over here. And, oh boy, we don't even ask for the respect that we deserve. At this point, we're just going to make it a paid service. Because we've been shown, unfortunately, that we have to make it a paid service. We can't gift this anymore to the Jewish community because they'll abuse it. They'll abuse it. They do. The way in which people spoke to me, again, I'm just trying to find someone dead or alive, to bring them back to their family, to bring them back to their life, right? Because again, right? Isn't the whole reason, right, that I'm involved, right? Because someone's supposed to be kidnapped, right? There's no kidnapping. Whatever. Horse shit. That's what this was. This was horse shit. In my life, I've never been abused to the level trying to help people that I have been abused in this situation. All parties involved have made me nauseous. The family of the alleged victim should be ashamed of themselves. The friends of the alleged victim should be ashamed of themselves. All people who involved the Kosher Intuitive. Shame on all of you. We truly do show up to be an incredible resource and powerhouse of support for you in your darkest hour. And if you don't want that or you don't need that, please don't take it. And certainly not for free. Because as a result of this, it'll never be free again. We can't. We can't. And we will never again take on a case where we do not have direct involvement with police. We can't, and this is how companies learn and grow. I've built a strong enough name in this industry and in this business where I have no issue getting on the phone with the cops. Because I know what my purpose in this situation actually is for. And what Jewish people just don't seem to want to swallow is there are several intuitively gifted people that have solved crime. Several. And each and every one of them knows exactly what they need to be successful at solving that crime. All of these people charge money, and there's no reason that the Kosher Intuitive business shouldn't be charging for it as well. We, all of us, as the greater collective, need to understand egregious things can and do happen every single day on this earth, whether or not your religious ass can tolerate looking at it or not. All right? And I understand that not everybody is going to ever be capable to do the job that I do. There's a special personality type for this job. I have that personality. Most people don't. I can appreciate that. But I also, in conjunction with that personality, I also have a personality that doesn't have a lot of tolerance for horse shit. And when we investigate a situation, all we ask is that crisis be real. That it's a real crisis. We're so upset that we've had to change our policies this morning. We offer life-saving services in a God forbid situation. There's nothing we won't do for people. And listen, no people are turned away at our company for inability to pay. But as of, in light of recent events, this is now a paid service. And we are just horribly sorry for that. But that's how it goes, man. My heart is broken over this. It reminds me of that saying, no good deed goes unpunished. I spoke to lunatics this week. Lunatics that wasted my time with what I believe to be silliness. And when I have to remind people of how crazy this earth really is, like when I was taking the kids their lunch this afternoon, I thought of Sherry Panini. I really did. I thought of Sherry Panini, the woman who you would have looked at her in the street. She's probably 100 pounds soaking wet. Beautiful woman. You would never think this woman would have been at the level of insanity to orchestrate her own kidnapping. People do it. Ever see that movie Gone Girl? I've never seen it, but I've heard about it. Listen, you guys, one of the biggest problems Jewish people, it's also, by the way, how a lot of Jewish people died in the Holocaust, not wanting to believe how bad humanity could be. Jewish people need to stop being naive. People are bad sometimes and can do very, very bad things, evil things, awful things, sinister things, illegal things. Why do you think I have a company in the first place? Because everybody was just so well behaved? Oh, for fuck's sakes. The Kosher Intuitive, I make more money in that business than I do real estate. Are you crazy? Because that's how crazy the Jewish community is. I'm fixing crazy all day and night. I work for my day job during the day, coaching at night, real estate in between. So you better believe if you contact this business, especially in regarding solving a crime had better be committed. Because we're going to get to the bottom of whether or not it did. And yes, we are going to ask you questions like, could the family have done this? Families kill each other, for Christ's sakes. I've seen in my own family such egregious behavior. My dead mother has a sister in Makshamo that I've had to put restraining orders against because she's such a wild, crazy animal. Families can do crazy things to other family members. What, you've never heard of someone killing someone in the family? Shit happens. And if you're too religious, like, oh my God, I can't fathom someone would hurt somebody. Oh, wake up. Wake up. What do you think gives the police jobs? What do you think the cops are out here are cutting grass? They fight crime because people do bad things, dum-dum. Stop it with the naivete. It's stupid already. The Jewish stupidity needs to stop. What are they putting stupid in the fucking water of the yeshiva? Stop it. My kids aren't allowed to be naive. Good God, grown adults. Unreal to me. Unreal to me. The behavior I see from grown ass adults. You people need me. I'm needed. It's egregious, the things we deal with here in this business. Lord have mercy. I'm just so, I'm telling you, I tried to do this video last night and I was so activated, and I'm activated again now, woke up activated, because this entire situation has irked me and disgusted me so deeply to my core that I had to make a 21-year company policy change today because of egregious Jewish behavior. I'm tired of the garbage. My company, in your crisis, should be treated with the same level of decency and respect as anyone else who's stepping in to help you. And if you are not prepared to do that, then you have no business utilizing our services, and that is the end of it. I am going to sign off and wish everyone a very good Shabbos. I apologize for being activated, but this situation and what I witnessed over this last week is maddening. It's absolutely disgusting. And it shows me just how big the problems are. You know, I've been in the Jewish community now 22 years. I've been halakhically Jewish 19 years. Never in my life have I seen more egregious behavior in my life. And we have people hiding behind halakha doing egregious behavior. Y'all, we need to be better for ourselves, for each other, and more importantly for God, who we're begging every day to give us our Messiah. And on the topic of our Messiah, I am going to not only wish you a good Shabbos, but I ask the Rabbana Shalom to bless each and every one of us, to bring us not only into the collected redemption of the earth, where we have the reveal of the Messiah, of Mashiach, and the standing of the Beis Hamikdash, but that we are also brought to a personal redemption by whatever means necessary. That whatever Hashem has to do to make you a good, decent, law-abiding person, whatever that means, whatever Hashem has to do to you to make you good, let him do it. Because if you're not going to be good, I have no use for you. In my life, be good or get out. Those are your two choices. And I wish Hashem would follow the same narrative. Be good or get out. And that is my prayer, that our God will bring humanity down to two choices. Be good or die. That's my prayer for us as we go into Shabbos. That Hashem will look at all of us and say, be good or die. That's my prayer as we go into redemption. I wish you all an amazing Shabbos. I'm sorry for the way that I had to behave today, but I sometimes have learned that it takes egregious behavior to contend with egregious behavior, and nobody other than the Jews have taught me that. Wishing you a wonderful Shabbos, and you all take care.